I'm so bored.
If only I had a job. That would give me money, so I could buy stuff. Be less bored. Oh wait, I do. However, a lot of people do not. Looking at you, little Timmy. You only have about 20 bucks in your piggy bank and it's burning a hole in your digital pocket. But you don't know what to spend it on. Games? Heck yeah! But it'll be another week, a month, another generic amount of time before you get $20 more of disposable income. But there are so many games, which one do you choose? If only there were a video that talked about this exact specific scenario. I'm gonna be ordering them by cost divided by the amount of time I played for them. In other words, how much bang do you get for your buck? So without further ado, here's my top 10 Steam games that last more than just a few hours and also happen to be under 20 bucks. Number 10, Stardew Valley. Now here is a game I know that I could get a lot more hours out of if I wasn't crushed by the constant weight of university assignments and frankly more action-packed games. In Stardew Valley you play as this person, or whatever you choose to make your person, and your grandpa leaves you with a farm. And you farm and mine and do an assortment of other things. There's actually a ton of stuff to do, to the point that sometimes you really need to plan your day out, since in this game there is a Majora's Mask-esque evil timer in the corner that makes you constantly take breaks from the fun things of the game to reset the timer so you can do less fun things, which need to be done every day, so that you won't be a poor hobo, because nobody wants to be a poor hobo unless you want to play as a poor hobo. In all honesty, I feel like I need to give this game a bit more time, but as I said before, there are just many more action-oriented games that pull my free time away from me more than a relaxing endeavor such as Stardew Valley. Number 9, Undertale. This game isn't an open roam game that Stardew presents, and its overall potential length isn't quite as high as any other games on this list, but I still had to put this on here. Not only because it's like $11 on Steam, but it's got value in its length and replayability. Undertale is a game where you play as a human who fell down a hole into a world of monsters. So it's your job to murder them all, or don't, it's entirely up to you, but with its unique art style, fun characters, and meme levels of popularity, it's not a bad game to pick up. Number 8, Besiege. You know those games that YouTubers play because they're a fad at one point in time? Or one popular guy like Markiplier plays it, so everyone hops on board? Well, this is one of those games that actually happen to have a little bit of content to it. Imagine Banjo-Kazooie nuts and bolts, but medieval themed, no protagonist, and you get to set things on fire. Okay, so maybe there's a bit more to it. The level of customization to this game is only dictated by your imagination. There is a lot of good fun to have here. Number 7, NonGuns. NonGuns? NonGuns is a rogue-like hardcore shoot-'em-up hidden gem that needs some more damn attention. It's deep and thought-provoking with its obscure menus and hidden meanings. It just kind of throws you into the game though to figure stuff out, to the frustration of the fans I might add. It's like $8 though, so you can't be mad at an $8 game, especially when it happens to be a good game. What is it though? Well, you crawl through randomly generated dungeons, collecting power-ups and calculating risk over reward. The further you venture, the better loot you'll find, but the harder the enemies and the less frequently you're going to find an escape window. If you die, you lose everything you brought in or collected within the dungeon, which is to say, pretty sad. But because of this mechanic, it teaches you to either play safer until you can get a bulk of gear, or better because you don't need powered up stuff to do what you once did. Number 6, Lost Castle. Lost Castle is like NonGuns, but a different art style. Number 5, Starbound. Now I remember making a funny joke, but seriously, besides the much easier to pick up and play UI and items, collectibles, and power-ups that actually make sense, the similarities between NonGuns and Lost Castle are pretty big. It is a roguelike dungeon crawling with kiting, dodging, and boss fights being the primary focus, whereas NonGuns is just not dying. Anyways, if you like one, you're going to end up liking the other. Next game, number 5. Starbound. Now I remember making a review on this bad boy a long time ago, but with updates, mods, and price reduction, and a bit of time, Starbound actually happens to be a pretty okay game. You play as a spaceman, or a bird, and you travel the frontiers of space, rebuilding your ship and saving the world from hentai. Then once the 20-hour campaign is over, it turns into a 2D Minecraft of sorts, with mods and all that jazz in the game, where you can end up playing this game for quite some time. Number 4, Slay the Spire. Alright, time for the big guns. My first true recommendations. The other ones are good, but these ones are really good for their price. Now this game is something you can sink a literal dumpster truck of time into. I have never, ever played a game that makes me feel like I've been frozen in time before. This did. It made 1 PM turn into 9 PM in a heartbeat. It's a roguelike, wonder if there's a pattern here, card-based combat game where you have to fight through 3 tiers of hellish landscape to destroy the Spire. And with how the game progresses, it's fun no matter your skill level. There are daily missions and a prestiging campaign mode which gets harder upon every completion. I've never seen a game handle difficulty so well. Sure, it's not for people who don't want to strategize or use their brain. It asks a little bit out of their player, and maybe the stabby monster needs to suck a big fat one, but all in all, great game, I highly recommend it. Number 3, Enter the Gungeon. Couple a high-action roguelike shooter with smooth controls, visible goals, and a hella awesome soundtrack, and you've got the Gungeon, a game that is more about how well you know the enemy than random items merging together to form a super OP deadly death combo. Now why are there so many roguelikes on this list? Well, frankly, they're the games that I find have the most replayability. That is, you can sink more time into them because if you beat the game can decide to get harder or to have alternate paths, or yada yada. In Enter the Gungeon, it's not entirely correct. You can beat the game technically in 6, 7, or 8 runs, considering you have to unlock the 2 bonus characters, beat several hard-to-predict bosses, and fight your way through to a place that even after 63 hours I haven't even reached yet. Odds are you're not going to be doing so. The game is hard. I don't think Dark Souls is a good comparison, so Halo 3 on Legendary kind of hard. You'll die a lot. It'll take you several hours of practice just to make it to the 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th floors, not to mention the 3 separate floors, one of which features the hardest boss fights in the game, and Hell Mode, which I don't even have footage of because it's so hard to get to. If you want a challenge, buy this game. And if you do, and have video proof of you beating it, I will do absolutely nothing because I'm not going to do any more of that stuff. Remember the waxing video? Yeah, no thank you. Anyways, game's hard, good game, go get it. Number 2, Binding of Isaac Rebirth. If Enter the Gungeon had an older brother, that would be this game. You know how I said Gungeon relied on skills? Well, this one does too, but it also has a lot, and I mean a lot, of luck involved. The game, while stylistically different from Gungeon, plays very much the same. Power up with chest rooms, kill the baddies, progress through randomly generated floors. However, where the major difference is the Gungeon caps the difficulty of bosses to being beatable with even the worst weapons. And it also has a damage cap on the bosses you face. Binding does not. Bosses are either really hard, or you can walk into the room and it dies. It's completely based on what kind of items you've gotten that build upon each other. But oh my goodness, is it ever satisfying to get a good combo. Yeah, I'm not showing you one here because I've already captured footage for 9 games, and I gotta get this baby done. Done like number 1. Terraria. Terraria is a 2-dimensional Minecraft. It's a lot like Starbound, to be honest. It takes place on this 2-dimensional plane. The planet itself is teeming with bosses, monsters, and a very literal hell. The game gets progressively harder as you beat bosses, but it also gets harder for your enemies to kill you, with rising health, armor bonuses, faster DPS outputs depending on your gear, and also added dodging mechanics, which you can get from either loot from bosses or you make it yourself by gathering materials around the world. Now there are 2 sides to this coin. You're either gonna love it like I do or hate it like my brother does. A lot of this game involves preparation, building, farming, and mining. Oh, so much mining. But in my opinion, it helps to balance the game and lengthen the experience. You don't want to be going hardcore all the time or you'll never appreciate the fun. Also, the game is way better with friends. But if you don't have any friends, it can be kind of depressing as you die over and over and over to the same boss because you can't farm higher gear and you suck, or no, that's just about it. You gotta get good. And that's about it for my top 10 Steam games that you can buy under 20 bucks that also give you a lot of bang for your buck. If you liked the video, make sure to let me know with that thumbs up button. Drop a subscribe if you're wanting to do so. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye!